Ms. Savigny.
Wait, are you going to make a motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so make the motion and then we'll have discussion.
I would like to move to direct the superintendent to form a community-based committee to begin looking into the facility utilization and redistricting to work along with the facilitator and use this public information back.
Wait, you have to get a second. So right now there's a motion on the flavor. There's a motion on the floor to direct the superintendent to come up with to establish a community-based committee to work alongside the facilitator. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
Okay, so now we are able to have a discussion. Ms. Herbert.
The only reason I'm bringing this up is because I am very concerned about that $7 to $8 million that we're going to be in the hole with. And I think by the time we get to December and would only get this information back then, I'm afraid we're going to be too late to do anything in January, February, March. It'll be too late for the 2019-20.
Well, the 18-19
school year. And I know we are going to be in a crunch, correct, Mr. Hartlove?
Yes, we will have a $7 million gap.
Yes. So I just thought if we could work hand in hand, that might help facilitate the process. And I want to move along with it, whether you all agree or not. I just wanted to bring that up. I talked to Mr. Guthrie about it. I'm just concerned, very, very, very concerned about time.
All right. So we have a motion on the floor. Are there other board members that would like to weigh in? Mr. Lord.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused what you're actually seeking. A committee to work alongside the facilitator. I mean, the facilitator is going to help us narrow down the parameters as well, set the process. I think this conflicts if we start the process before the facilitator's even done. I mean, if they're working at the same time, now we're working on process and getting community feedback. I'm kind of confused.
I'm just worried about time. We're going to be into December before we can move along and do anything else. That's why I thought maybe we could work hand in hand some way to progress this along. And I know you all went through it before, so I'm new, but I just know that I'm just very worried about that $7 to $8 million, and that I thought maybe if he would start selecting committee, and that they could work together and receive feedback, and then that could go also to that committee. I'm worried about the time frame.
All right. Because
that budget's going to be, and I want to take care of the teachers, and it's just educators, people in general that work, you all, and I'm afraid we're going to run out of time.
All right. Are there other board members that would like to weigh in? Ms. Harrison?
Isn't this a different budget, Mr. Guthrie?
No, I think what Mrs. Herbert's referring to is that if you set a process, remember that the three types: community-based, right, internal or external, consultant, or combination. That was what you were going to get feedback on. If you cut that out and develop the process ahead of time, it might shortcut the time it takes to go through it, instead of waiting till December to set the process, which essentially means that you can't hit the 18-19 school year for any school closures if that's your goal.
We're not going to be able to get...
All right, Ms. Herbert, we need to let other board members... You've said your piece. Ms. Savigny, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would like to completely mirror Ms. Herbert's comments about worried about the time frame. I think we're essentially saying that with the timeline that we've set, that there would be nothing that could be done as part of the 18-19 budget cycle. But I think that there's a lot of new information that was presented tonight with central office and other things that will impact the comprehensive plan, and the fact that we're going to be looking for a new superintendent. There's a lot of things that I'm not prepared to vote on that particular motion tonight, I guess is what I'm saying. Although I mirror the sentiment of the timing. All
right. I would like to say, for me, and I think my my concern with the motion is that you're selecting the process already. You want it to be a community-based process. For me, I won't make that decision on what type of process it should be until I've had the community input. You know, it's fascinating. Actually, you know, we were slammed last time for rushing through this process. We were told repeatedly that we went too fast and 1 year was too quick. So I am much less concerned about the time frame. I mean, my intention is to get the feedback and then do what's best, and if that means schools don't close next year, I would much rather do it that way. So I will be voting no on this motion for that reason. Anybody want to add, or are we ready to call for the
Actually,
vote?
I'd like to
Mr.
add.
Lord?
I mean, and I completely agree with you. You know, we were slammed that, you know, that it was rushed and there was not enough community input. In fact, I believe I've heard that from you, too. And I will say that it wasn't a year. It was over a 2-year process. That process started before I was on the board. MGT study went out.
Right.
Well, actually, it started internally. And then, you know, it was the decision of the board at that time to hire MGT. MGT went out and got community feedback with the charrettes. And actually, Ms. Rothschild and I attended most of those charrettes to hear what the community had to say, because we were running for office also. And by the time they came out with their decision, you know, in December, and the current board at the time utilized that decision by putting the K through 8 in their master plan, in their CIP. And then, when the commissioners did not fund that, they turned around and used that survey information that was taken from MGT in the decision to set parameters, and that was used all along. It was almost a 2-year process. I'm in no rush to speed this up, hearing from the community saying that we rushed this and there was not enough community input. So as much community input as we can get, you know, I would love to see, especially setting the parameters and setting the procedure. I would like the community on board with this.
Mr. Guthrie, I'm going to ask you to chair the vote, please.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to direct me, the superintendent, to comprise a community-based committee to set a process to work alongside the facilitator, thereby negating the facilitator's job to get public feedback on a process. All in favor? Opposed? Motion fails 4-1.
Thank you for listening. I'm just very, you know, I haven't been through the process, but I just thought it might work if you could do things hand in hand.